Yo. So we got this new Paris, Texas EP that left the sword with me, and I really wanted to talk about it. So this seems to be a continuation of their other EP, Red Hand Akimbo, which I do remember really liking. I haven't listened to it in a little bit, but I remember liking it. Um, and I am a pretty big Paris, Texas fan, if I would say so. I am gonna see them live on the Chromacopia tour in a couple months, so pretty excited about that. And I thought to myself, whenever I was buying the tickets, I thought to myself, they don't. For one, they don't really have a big catalog to pull from, and for two, I was realizing they hadn't dropped anything in a hot minute. Nothing since Rock Out, which was late October of last year. Which that song, I mean, it was fine. It was spectacular or anything like that. But I mean, I liked it still, but this isn't about that. This is about this new project, which, like I said, seems to be a continuation of the loose story they had going on in Red Hand Akimbo EP, with the medieval wizard narrating throughout the project. And that is also how the first track starts, which also transitions pretty nicely into the first actual song of the project titled Dogma 25, and I really liked it. It feels like they perfected that midair sound from their other album, and the flow on the chorus from my God, I don't even know their names. Hold on. Okay, so the flow on the chorus from Felix. Sorry, I'm just going off of what Genius says right now. Bear with me. Anyway, he sounds really good. It's a nice slow build up from their little hiatus. And I also think it sounds really good if this is your first project you're tuning into, because I'm sure a lot of people had no idea who they are before Tyler. I usually check on their Spotify just to see where they're at, where they're standing at monthly listeners. I've seen that they were usually hovering around that 300 to 400,000, which is still pretty good. But now that they dropped this, I just checked it today. They got around 500, a little over 500,000, which is really cool to see that more people are checking them out, and it's really cool. but uh, but the first verse from Louis, also, exactly what I wanted to hear. Green on my body, that boy is a beast. Foot fetish, I can't have a feet, dude. But overall, is a really cool track. I can't lie. Now the second song, Red Eye and Blue Hearts, dude. I can't remember the last time that they used this more melodic sound. Usually they just go for the more rock inspired, but I really like the sound, this more melodic direction that they chose to go for on this second one. It's really cool. I mean, there's nothing really to say about it other than their flow and beat sounding really nice. Like lyrically, it ain't nothing too crazy, but the song doesn't really need it, you know. And the first song I did add into my big playlist, and this one I also added into the big playlist. I also added it into the late night drive playlist because it gives off those vibes. What can I say? But track 4, Tantrum, I can't lie. Unfortunately, this is probably the worst song on the album or off the project, the EP, whatever you want to call it. The first half, the beat, it just really wasn't it, mainly. However, I will say the guitar that they were using was really good. And the chorus as well got me kind of hyped. But the second half, though, it was pretty tight. I can't lie. Firstly, I was not expecting a switch. I really love the and that lower voice transitioning into the second half. That almost makes up for the first half. But I will say this: I kind of wish that the second half was just on its own, was its own song. They could have made it 9 songs and had this one on its own. But at the same time, it would have been a really short song, like a minute and a half or something like that. But I think it could have worked. But of course, what do I know, right? Then you have the interlude titled Boys to Men interlude, which has the narrator giving a speech. Now, I don't really know their lore, the whole lore with the narrator, but I guess that's my fault, unless they just haven't explained anything, but I don't know. I haven't really looked into it all that much. But this leads us into track 5, Holy Spinal Fluid. And I mean, what can I say that hasn't been said already? Paris, Texas really done it again. For me, at least. It reminds me, this one might be my personal favorite. My personal favorite off of the project. But it kind of reminds me of a Baby Keem song, which I am also fucking starving for. My stomach is rumbling. And there's a Baby Keem shaped hole in there. I can't, that's as best as I can explain it. All right. But anyways, this ain't about him. This ain't about Hakeem Carter. This is about Felix and the other guy, Louis. But this one reminds me of a Baby Keem song. And it's got some goofy lines in it. Allow me to share my favorites. I'm a real big stepper. They some little toe stubbers. Alright. Bitch Yellow. That's my Super Saiyan 2. And then who can forget such a classic as She Fucking on a Goat Bestiality. Now, again, I gotta preface, whenever I say goofy, that doesn't mean bad. I really like these. And also, they made me laugh, which is very hard for a song to do. If it isn't, I can laugh at how bad a song is, but this song is not bad. It's very good. It made me laugh because those lines genuinely caught me off guard, and I thought they were actually really funny. But that's really awesome, and I loved it for that, and I put it in the big playlist. And then there's the single, track 7, Infinite, I think? Infinite? Infinite? Maybe? I don't know. I don't care. I do care. I'm sorry. I apologize, actually. Now, when I first heard this, I figured it was going to be another single, like Rock Out, where we just got it, and then we get nothing else out of it. But I was just happy to hear something new from them. But this also sounds really cool. And it feels like a pretty standard Paris, Texas song, which ain't a bad thing at all. It really isn't. But there's really not much else to say about this one. Pretty standard stuff. And I liked it. And I added it to the big playlist. And finally, the last song, track 8, El Camino. And man, this one was really good. It was a really good closing track. The first minute, I had a hard time of what to focus on, which I think is a pretty good thing, I guess. But I hear the beat; it almost sounds industrial in a way, I guess. And then you hear Louis' first verse. His flow was pretty basic, but it honestly fits. It really fits. And then the chorus was really good as well. And then you had I also really liked his voice raise when I already forgot how he says it. But I liked his voice raise when he says the line. I do. Linkfest had hoes coming out the wazoo. I really liked that. That was cool. And the chorus, like I said, was just sounded really nice. Mind you, the whole song's production also just sounds fantastic. But then you also got Felix and his almost monotone flow. Almost reminds me of Earl Sweatshirt in a way. But you got his monotone verse and it sounds really good. But then you have that outro. That outro is just amazing. Both of them going back and forth. All these sounds just coming together. The synths and everything like that. It just brings it all together. Brings a grown man to tears. Almost cried. Can't lie. No, I am lying. I didn't almost cry. But it sounded really nice. But I gotta say, this project really filled my hunger for the new music from them. Of course, I wouldn't say no to more, but as of right now, I'm satisfied. Alright though, but in this house, we rate albums a little different. I rate things based off of how many songs I bring into my big playlist. My big playlist is it's basically like my liked songs, but I like to know how long the actual playlist is, and sometimes I'm actually insane and I will shuffle through it. But of course, there's also other songs where I like it. I just can't add it into these other mood playlists or anything like that because they just don't really fit anywhere else, I guess. But anyways, it's basically just every song I've listened to ever. And also I don't include interludes unless if they are trying to be songs. I also don't include skits because that's just not fair. That being said, They Left Me the Sword by Paris, Texas gets 2 donuts stacked on top of each other. How's that sound?